Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Melissa, and if you're new here, welcome. If you are new to my channel, I talk about missing children I talk about missing children cases. So today's case is very different. Today is not just about one child. It's actually the disappearance of a family, which is the Martin family disappearance. The reason why I wanted to do this case is because this case, to me, it's one of them, like, I I I don't even know what to say when it comes to this case, because this case, to me, mind you, a child goes missing, but when a whole family goes missing, that's just like mind blowing. Don't mind my pimple. I have a pimple right here. Yeah, right there, and I can't do nothing about it. But I do put Vaseline. So if you ever have a pimple on your face, put Vaseline. You can do it during the day or at night. I usually do it both times. But back to this case. This case, to me, when I researched it and when I looked it up, I was like, I have to do this case. So let's go ahead and get started. Don't forget to subscribe, guys, so you can be notified, and also hit that bell. So let's learn about the Martin family. So the Martin family was from Portland, Oregon, United States. Disappearance on December 7th of 1958 in the Columbia River, Georgia, doing a day trip to gather green near for Christmas decoration. The missing, including the husband Kenneth Martin, age 54, his wife Barbara Martin, 48, and the couple's three daughters, Barbara, who went by Barbie, Virginia, and Susan, age 14, 13, and 11, were expensively. The family's oldest child, Donna, was in the United States Navy and stationed in New York at the time of her disappearance. Several months after the family vanished, the bodies of Susan and Virginia were discovered and downstream in the shore of the Columbia River, roughly 30 miles apart from each other. Police tentatively speculated that the family car may have crashed into the river, though these circumstances surrounding the event could not be fully explained. Further complicating the case was the discovery of a stolen handgun and the arrest of two ex-convicts in the area the day after the family disappeared. Investigators were unable to determine if the accidents were in any way connected. The whereabouts of Kenneth, Barbara, and Barbie remain undetermined, and their vehicle has never been recovered. The family disappearance has been described as one of the most baffling mysteries in Oregon history, and it sparks the greatest manhunt the state had undertaken at the time. So on the evening of December 17th of 1958, Kenneth and Barbara Martin of Portland, Oregon, attended a Christmas party before returning to their home at 1715 NE 56th Avenue in the Rose Bay neighborhood of Northeast Portland. The couple had made plans for a day trip in the county for the following day. In the late morning of December 7th, Kenneth and Barbara left their home with their daughters Barbie, Susan, and Virginia, and their 1954 cream red color Ford Square station wagon. Barbie, the oldest daughter, was a freshman at the Gray High School. The family's oldest child, son named Donald, age 28 at the time, was in the United States Navy and stationed in New York at the time. The family headed east for a drive into the Columbia River, Georgia, where they intended to gather greener to make Christmas weathers and decoration. The knowledge of where the Martin was specifically throughout the day is expressed. Dean Baxter, gas station proprietor, report that he encountered the family when they purchased 5 USA gallons or gasoline from his store in Kansas Locks around 4 p.m., apparently 40 miles from their home in Portland. According to Baxter, he recalled their car counting east after they had purchased gasoline. The family was seen again shortly after the Prairie Snake Bar in Hood River, approximately 20 miles east of Castle Locks, where a waitress named Claire York states she served the family. Other reports from passing murderers indicate that the family was seen in an unspecific location on the north bank of the Columbia River in Washington at dusk. According to the witness who saw the family that day, Kenneth was reportedly wearing a tan zip-up jacket, dark slacks, with Barbara wore a navy blue coat, a plaid jacket, and a black pink dress. Barbie was reportedly dressed in jeans with the rope cuffs and a bench coat. On December 9th, Kenny failed to report to his job, an Mexico Electric Home Service Company, while Barbie was noted absent from the morning class of Grand High School. Both Susan and Regina were also reported absent in their teachers at Rose City School. The family was officially reported missing that evening by Kenny's boss, Taylor Eccles. The police investigated their residence at approximately 11 p.m., searching for any signs of foul play. The house had been left undisturbed. A load of laundry was still in the washing machine, and dishes from the previous days were left on the dining rack in the kitchen. There was also some substantial amount of money in the Martins' bank accounts. Search were undertaken by both Balmouth County, Hood River County police, but neither were able to produce substantial leads. A stolen white Chevrolet registered in Vincent, Los Angeles, California, was found in Cassandra Locks the day of the Martins' disappearance, but was quickly dismissed by police, and it did not match the Martins' vehicle. Also found in the site of the abandoned Chevrolet was a .38 Colt Camborda handgun. I don't do guns, so if that's not the right name, I'm sorry. I just don't do guns. Which had been disposed of in the bushes and was covered in dirt blood. The handgun was turned over to law enforcement but never proceeded for evidence. The gun's serial number was traced to Mary and Frank department store, and it was subsequently discovered that the gun had been among several sporting good items that the son of Donald Martin had been accused of stealing while working at a minor in Frank 2 years prior. On December 8th, Roy Light and another unnamed man, both ex-convicts, were arrested for car theft in Hood River County in connection with the abandoned Chevrolet, which raised suspicions in relation to the Martins' disappearance. A waiter at the robbery restaurant where the Martins were last seen told law enforcement he saw Light, who was an acquaintance, and the other ex-convict in the restaurant at the same time. He also stated that the two men left at the same time the Martin did. Various other tips were submitted to law enforcement in the weeks and months following the family disappearance, including over 200 letters and hundreds of phone calls. Among them were reports from a quarter owner east of Portland who claimed to have witnessed a man and woman on December 7th gathering greener in a canyon where a Native American burial ground was located. He added that the following week he noticed a flock of buzzards flying in this direction. The con was searched, but nothing was found. On December 28th of 1958, a woman's glove was discovered near the side of the abandoned Chevrolet, which family stated was similar to a glove Barbara would wear. However, it could not be positively been identified as belonging to her. I hope they kept the glove, and if they kept it so good and protected, they probably would be able to do some type of DNA to confirm if that was her glove. Put that back, man. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. It could not be... Okay, so days later, on December 34th, a man called police reporting he had seen a vehicle matching the Martins spending on the Blacklock Freeway. Police were alerted along the freeway, but the car could not be located. A letter was also received from a witness who claimed to have seen the resembling the Martins Bowling, Ohio on Christmas Eve. One of the last reports sighting of Martin's vehicle came in January 7th of 1959 from a truck driver who stated he had seen a car matching the Martins' description parked Milligan, Montana, with Oregon license plates. By February 1959, investigators had undertaken search of various locations, including the Great Portland and Metropolitan region, as well as the search on Mountain Hood. During this time, a volunteer search found tire tracks leading off a cliff near the Dallas, which is reportedly matched the tires of the Martins 4. Paint chips recovered at the location were sent to the FBI for analysis, and it was determined that the paint was the same paint used on the make and model of the Martins vehicle. Based on the possibility that the Martins vehicle may have plunged into the river, the United States Army Corps of Engineers lowered the level of river by 5 feet in the lake behind Bonneville Dawn, which was searched with submarine technology but yielded no results. On May 1st of 1959, 3 months after the tire tracks were reported, a river drill rig near the Dallas port hooked something of sensational weight to the anchor. However, it became dislodged before it could be pulled to the surface. In the early morning hours of May 2nd, fisherman and his wife report seeing that appeared to be two bodies floating downstream near Castle Lake Locks. They later encountered them near Beverly Dawn. In the afternoon of May 3rd, the body of Susan was discovered in the north bank of the Columbia River near Camps, Washington, roughly 70 miles west of the Dells. Her identity was possibly confirmed with the identical records. The following morning, May 4th, the body of Virginia was discovered near Bonneville Dam, roughly 46 miles west of the Dells, also confirmed via identical records. Susan's body was taken to the Clark County Medical Examiner office before being transferred to the Mulligan County in Portland for autopsy. On both bodies to be performed, one of the technicians who take fingerprints prior to the autopsy indicated to the medical examiner what they believed to be bullet holes in the heads of each of the girls' body. However, according to the medical examiner report, no such injuries were found, and the cause of death for both of the girls was officially declared as drowning. Traces of metal including aluminum, were recovered from Susan's clothing. I think that has to do with stuff. See, I should have paid attention in science class, because I remember talking about aluminum, but don't remember what's the meaning of it. But yeah. Essentially, this spot on the river bank where the drill rig encountered a submerged object and where the car is suspected to have gone into the river is directly opposite of the elimination mining plan. Robert Guillemoth, the sheriff of Hood River County, at the time suspected the drilling rig overturned the Martin's car at the bottom of the river and they closed one of the doors, allowing the bodies of Susan and Virginia to escape and suffer downstream. Further search of the water were undertaken by both sonar and helicopter, but were unfruitful. The search for the Kenneth, Barbara, and Barbie was keenly suspended after a search drive nearly drowned. So I'm going to tell y'all the aftermath after the disappearance of the family and the theories that a lot of people have, and then I'll let y'all know what I think happened. Police theorized that the family may have died as a result of Kenneth crashing their vehicle into the river, while another theory held that the family had been abducted and forced off of the cliffside into the river. In 1961, 3 years after the family disappearance, a resident of Camps wrote a letter to the Oregon Journal stating that they were parked with the companion in Castle Lock on December 7th of 1958 and had witnessed a vehicle pursuing under the railroad tracks leading towards the locks. Months later, they heard screaming, but upon investigation found nothing. In December 1966, 8 years after the family disappeared, eldest son Donald, the only surviving member of the family, inherited the family's modest estate, which had been amended propated for 7 years. He later moved to Kapolei, Hawaii, and became a teacher at James Campbell High School, Ear Beach. Donald passed away on October 8th of 2004 at the age of 73, leaving 3 children behind. He is buried together with his wife in the National Memorial Cemetery of the Pacific. Multnomah County Police consistently suspect foul play in the Martin disappearance. Based on the evidence of the tire tracks, they indicate the family vehicle was deliberately pushed from the cliff. Also, troubling were the reports citing of the family's adducts in the north bank of the river, Washington State. Why the tire tracks placed them on the south side of the river in Oregon, they would suggest that their car would have fallen off the cliff after nightfall. The arrest of the 2 ex-convicts in the Hood River area that day after the family disappeared for car theft was also noted through police were unable to determine if the accident were related. Walter Graves, a Portland detective who died in 1988, attentively felt the family had met with foul play and that their murders would be solved once the car was discovered. The cremated remains of Susan and Virginia remain at the Riverview Abbey Mausoleum in Portland, unclaimed for over a decade after their death. On December 30 of 1969, the earrings containing their cremated remains were retrieved by an unknown individual. The girl's potential grandmother, Margaret Martin, had died the day before, December 29th, and the girl's cremated remains were claimed with funeral arrangement for being made for her. For most of the later part of this 20th century, search efforts to recover the remaining 3 missing family members were not made, and in July 1999, however, Argentine journalist Margie Bold, who had become an interest in the case, organized a dive search for Columbia River near Castle Locks, searching for the Martins' car. The search utilized New Sooners Globe poison system and leader underwater acoustic technology, but limited proof unsuccessful. As of 2023, the remains of Kenneth, Barbara, and Barbie remain undiscovered, and the vehicle has never been found. And that is the story of the Martin family. This story, to me, I don't even know what to think, because, like I said at the beginning of my video, it's crazy when one child disappears, but when a whole family disappears, it's like, what? I wish we would know more about the parents and what they did, and what people thought about them. But because this case is so old, there's really not a lot. There's probably is more, but I couldn't find anything myself. If y'all do find something, let me know. But I really think that it had to be foul play. I believe it's foul play, and I believe that those 2 guys that were the last 2 people that, the last 2 people that saw them. And I mean, why would you go to a restaurant and then walk out at the same time as the family? That does not make any sense. Mind you, I have gone to restaurants, but I don't leave at the same time as other people. Usually, it depends who I go with. I usually just sit there for a little bit, and even though if I'm done eating, I'll stay and talk for a little bit. I think those 2 people had something to do with it. I still don't understand why the older brother did not claim the body of his the 2 bodies that were found. You were the brother, so why didn't you claim your family bodies? Does not make any sense to me. And I think that the last family that are missing, I think they're in their car. And I think it's true. I think I've seen cases where they have found, I think it happened here. I think it was happening in Houston. These 2 teenagers went missing, and when they went missing, there were so many theories of these teenagers. Mind you, there were the wrong theories. They said, though, they did drugs, or they did drugs, so they got killed by a drug dealer, or they did this and that. There was so much theories and lies, and I couldn't even imagine how much it affected the family, because you're here trying to search for your kids, and there are people, spreading lies. But they finally did end up finding the car. It was in the river, and it was an accident. I don't exactly remember how it happened, but I know it was an accident, and their car ended up in the river, and that's why they I don't know if it was raining or something. I can't remember, but it was an accident. It was, they did get out of the road, and their car ended up in the river, but both bodies were there. And just imagine how sad and crazy how you just, all these family members never thought they would find them and would find answers, and they were there the whole time, because it happened in their town. The accident happened in their town, and the whole time these 2 innocent young's life were in the river, they just couldn't find it. So it is possible. I think it's very, very possible. I do agree with the detectives that if they find the car, they'll find the other bodies, and they hopefully will find what happened to the family. Was it an accident? Was foul play? If it's true of what they say about the bullet hole, I think it is foul play. But who would do that to them? I wish I would know, what was the Martin family? How were they? How were they as a family? How did the mom had something going on? Did the dad have something? What happened? And it's crazy, and I really do hope that we get answers. if I do see anything, any updates, I think this is one case that I want to keep myself updated to figure it out. Because with technology growing and stuff, I think the car has to be in that river. Because mind you, if somebody killed him, why would you move the car? And if you move the car, how you gonna move the car? How you gonna explain if somebody sees you with the car and you have dead bodies in the car? Like, I don't get it. But I think the car is in that river. I feel like they should keep searching it, because something tells me that car is in that river. And that car is probably dusty and nasty and who knows what. But that car is in the river. Because look at the Titanic. I know. The Titanic is still in the same spot that it was when it drowned. When it went down so many years ago. So the car is probably right there somewhere in that river. They just cannot find it, and it's probably too dangerous. They had to stop the search because 2 of the divers were about to drown. I think if they find the right equipment, the correct equipment, where people don't have to go down, they could find it. And I really, really do hope that they still have family out there that are helping and trying to get some answers. So yeah, guys, that would be it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I will be back soon with another case. I love ya.